Yang Berbahagia Datuk Syed Zaid, Chairman of Securities Commission, Malaysia. Mr. Steve Clayton, CEO, JP Morgan, Malaysia. Mr. Tom Somersault, Head of Asia Equity Sales, JP Morgan. Chairpersons, CEOs, and board members of Corporate Malaysia. Distinguished partners, investors and guests. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Invest Malaysia 2021 Series 3. Today, our conversations will revolve around sustainable growth. We'll be taking a focused dive into the mechanisms of Malaysia's economy and explore a number of key areas that will drive growth. The first conversation today is something I've been given the honour of moderating, the recently tabled Budget 2022. Budget 2022 is an all-inclusive. In keeping with the spirit of Keluarga Malaysia, the budget aims to ensure that no person or business is left behind or neglected in Malaysia's development. However, one of the more interesting proposals is the one-off Cukai Makmur, which will be the key focus of our discussion today. We can expect to hear the industry players' perspectives on what this tax would mean for large corporates. While some may argue that such a tax is a concern for large corporate players, others see its implementation as a means to fund necessary fiscal programs to stimulate the economy while maintaining Malaysia's sovereign rating. In addition to discussing Budget 2022, this session will consider what else can be done to elevate Malaysia to achieve sustainable growth under this new economic structure. Ladies and gentlemen, Bursa Malaysia's crude palm oil futures has been a global benchmark for many years now. Recently, we launched East Malaysia Crude Palm Oil Futures contract that caters to East Malaysian palm oil players, who account for nearly half of the nation's crude palm oil production. Soon, Bursa Malaysia Derivatives will be launching night trading in December. This is to provide an avenue for market participants to manage their risk exposure based on real-time developments. The recent volatility in crude palm oil being a prime demonstration of the need for this. These new features relate perfectly to the second panel discussion for today, sustainable commodity growth. It is a broad and economically pertinent subject, and fittingly, our panelists hail from plantation, metals and energy sectors. This discussion will also cover environmental, social and governance global trends, which are visibly acting as a positive force upon Malaysia's largest corporations that serve ASEAN and global markets. Bursa Malaysia has had a large role in diligently developing and setting the benchmarks and helping guide Malaysia's corporations in developing their ESG qualities and standings for both conventional and Sharia markets. Ladies and gentlemen, the third panel session for today will be centred on ESG through the lens of sustainable investment. Here, the discussion will take a wider view of the global ESG investment standards, where Malaysia stands in that regard. We can expect to hear about how investing landscape will be shifting in response to this phenomenon, and what the expected effects and impacted areas may be as the power of the fund manager's votes becomes itself felt in every boardroom and every general meeting. Some of you would have heard in the earlier Invest Malaysia Series 1 and 2 that Malaysia is on the journey of economic transformation through technology, the fourth industrial revolution, the National Digital Blueprint and the introduction of Digital National Berhad all have similar goals, that is, to successfully transform Malaysia into a digitally driven, high-income nation and a regional leader in the digital economy. Taken together, these transformations, which leverage big data, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, amongst others, will boost the nation's productivity, spur innovation, and improve livelihoods. It is expected that the digital economy will make up 22.6% of Malaysia's gross domestic product by 2025. Therefore, quite fittingly, the last panel discussion for the day will explore the up and rising unicorns of Malaysia. As can be expected, these companies do have one thing in common, other than being well on their way to being valued at an accepted unicorn threshold of over USD 1 billion. They're all strong representatives of the new economy with their transformative use of technology in manufacturing, digital delivery and platform development. This panel's composition is partly to acknowledge and honour these soon-to-be unicorns, and for the rest of us to learn what it takes and to be inspired by our fellow Malaysians to develop more of these mythical companies. Ladies and gentlemen, today's Invest Malaysia is certainly looking like a very exciting day of dynamic discussion. quite an intellectual treat for us. Before we start, allow me to thank all our speakers, panellists and moderators for making the time to be part of this capital market conversation. My sincere thanks and appreciation goes out to JP Morgan for partnering with Bursa Malaysia on this third series of Invest Malaysia. I would also like to make special mention of the joint organising team at JP Morgan and Bursa Malaysia for putting in so much effort to ensure we get such an informative program. I wish you all a productive and insightful day, which I trust will spark your interest in Malaysia. Thank you.